Piers Morgan, Jeremy Kyle, and even constitutional experts, all sounding the alarm. Okay, let's talk about that video. It showed Meghan, heavily pregnant, or pretending to be, in what looks like a staged delivery room. The lighting was off, almost too perfect, more like a movie set than a hospital. The IV setup looked suspiciously fake, missing the little details anyone who's been in a hospital would instantly notice. No vitals monitor, no nurse call button, no sterile packaging. The bed? Definitely not medical grade. It looked like something you'd see in a cheap soap opera or a poorly funded student film. But the real kicker? Meghan. Instead of lying down or walking gingerly like most women at full term, she was dancing. And not just swaying side to side, not smiling sweetly in anticipation. She was dropping it low, hands on knees, twerking like she just hit the Powerball. And behind her? Prince Harry, looking awkward, like even he didn't quite believe what was happening. As expected, people who saw the videos were stunned. Some laughed, and while others squinted at their phones and said, "What am I watching?"
We can see the bump doing this up and down. I was making a joke about the JFK movie. Up and then down, up and then down. How is that possible? And that's when we need to explain a couple things about the female body when a woman is heavily pregnant. There's no space for anything. Everything is tight.
But the overwhelming response? Disbelief. It didn't even take that long before people zoomed in on that baby bump, scrutinizing every pixel. And most people who saw the clip pointed out that the bump didn't move. It didn't bounce. It didn't sway with her body. It just sat there, suspiciously still, like it was glued in place. It was too perfect, too round, too motionless. Comment sections lit up within minutes, with thousands of users declaring, "That's fake." On TikTok, the hashtag #moonbump started trending again as users stitched the video with old clips of Meghan's past pregnancies where her belly mysteriously shifted shapes. Reddit threads exploded with comparisons between real pregnancy movements and what they were seeing in this viral footage. Even midwives and OBGYNs chimed in anonymously, pointing out how no real pregnant woman at 9 months could move like that without wincing in pain or clutching her back. It wasn't just internet trolls throwing out wild theories this time. Regular people, mothers, nurses, even skeptics from years prior suddenly became believers. Some said the video looked like Meghan was parodying pregnancy, not living it. The tone, the setup, the twerking, it all felt too bizarre to be real. And that's what's so wild. It wasn't just what Meghan did, it was how confidently she did it. As if daring the world to call it out. And the world did, loudly. Because here's the thing, nobody, and I mean nobody, twerks like that in the final stages of pregnancy. Not without pulling something, not without risking the baby, and certainly not in a hospital room. Doctors weighed in anonymously, pointing out that no hospital would allow that type of behavior during pre-labor. Nurses said the equipment was off. OBGYNs pointed out how the bump never shifted, sagged, or moved like an actual pregnant belly should. Theories spread fast. Was it CGI, a prop, an old clip resurfacing to troll the internet? But what really lit the match was what followed. Total silence from Meghan. Like, no statement, denial, or comment was made. Oh, don't even get started with how Meghan didn't even drop a press release. Not even a cheeky joke. Just silence. And for someone who has historically fought rumors with legal teams and op-eds, Meghan's refusal to address the viral video raised more eyebrows than the video itself. And silence? In the internet age, it's basically an admission of guilt. Or at least, that's how the public took it. Then came the commentary. Piers Morgan led the charge with a post on X that dropped jaws everywhere. In a post on X, Piers wrote, "We're about 2 months away from the sex tape." Brutal. Cutting. Very Piers. Then Jeremy Kyle joined the party, scoffing during his broadcast and saying, "This looks like a pregnant lapse delight in Vegas." He laughed with Kinsey Schofield, a royal commentator who's been following the Sussex drama for years. They both tore into Meghan and Harry's so-called privacy narrative, mocking them for posting bizarre TikTok-style maternity parodies after preaching about escaping media scrutiny. Okay, let's talk about privacy a little bit. Remember the great New York paparazzi chase of 2023? Sounds like a Netflix thriller? Yeah, it practically was, except it played out in real life, with Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and her mom Doria being chased through Midtown Manhattan like fugitives in a Jason Bourne movie. And no, this wasn't a movie set. It was very real.
The news that Harry and Meghan were relentlessly pursued in a chase that resulted in multiple near collisions brought back memories of the fatal car crash of Harry's mother, Princess Diana, in the summer of 1997.
At least according to the Sussex PR team. But here's the real kicker. For a couple that claims to want nothing more than peace, privacy, and a break from the royal flashbulbs, they sure end up in front of a lot of cameras. In case you missed, something happened in 2020. This was when Harry and Meghan packed their bags and decided to ditch the palace and bolted across the Atlantic to escape the toxic British media. Harry painted it as a life-or-death mission to protect his family from the same paparazzi that allegedly hounded his mother, Princess Diana, to her death. The message was clear. We're out. Leave us alone. Fast forward 3 years, and they're starring in a Netflix docuseries, dropping bombshells on Oprah, dropping a memoir titled Spare, doing red carpets, interviews, award shows, and now dodging paparazzi through the streets of NYC like it's the Fast and the Furious Sussex Drift. This latest episode, it's not just ironic, it's theatrical. According to Team Sussex, they were involved in a near-catastrophic car chase involving highly aggressive paparazzi. According to the NYPD, not so fast. They described it more like a traffic inconvenience. Some congestion, maybe some tailgating. Not exactly the pulse-pounding getaway car moment Harry described, but either way, it sparked outrage and sympathy, and also a tidal wave of skepticism. Because if you're pleading for the world to stop looking at you, why are you constantly standing in the spotlight? See, this is the Sussex paradox. They want privacy unless the cameras are rolling.
Now, Princess Privacy's been at it again, reportedly asking her bodyguards to stop spectators at Wimbledon from taking photos of her as she sat with 12,000 people watching a match broadcast to millions of people. And just to demonstrate her desire to keep a low profile after keeping secret details of Archie's christening and his godparents' names, Meghan is now reportedly in talks to write a monthly column in Vogue. Oh my God, the hypocrisy, the arrogance, the control freakery. Sorry, but Meghan isn't entitled to demand special treatment.
They hate media intrusion unless they're producing the documentary. They don't want royal titles unless they're using them on book covers. It's like quitting your job at McDonald's, then showing up every week in a McDonald's uniform, complaining no one's giving you free fries. The contradictions aren't just confusing, they're starting to look strategic. And let's talk about the security situation. That's where this whole drama takes a sharp left turn. After leaving the UK, Harry lost his royal security detail. In Britain, unless you're a working royal, you don't get armed police following you around like a Marvel superhero. And Harry? He wasn't cool with that. He even offered to pay for the police. Like, imagine Venmoing the Queen and saying, "Hey, can I rent some cops?" The British Home Office basically laughed him out of court. Their argument? The police aren't for hire like bouncers at a Vegas club. So now Harry's stuck between worlds. In California, he's got private security, big guys with earpieces and sunglasses who are legally allowed to carry guns. But in the UK, not so much. That's why this New York incident is such a headache. It proves something Harry doesn't want to admit. Even with NYPD backup, even in America, even with private guards, he's not bulletproof. He's not safe. And worst of all, he's not in control. Historian Ed Owens put it bluntly. The kind of police protection Harry wants? It's not enough, and he's not dealing with reality. Translation? Harry's trying to live a royal life without the palace, the crown, or the consequences. He wants the security of the throne without the job description. And honestly, that's not how any of this works. And here's where it gets even juicier. In his memoir Spare, Harry opens up about never going anywhere without 3 armed bodyguards. As a child, as a teen, as an adult. The man literally grew up in a bubble of security. So when the palace pulled the plug after Megxit, it wasn't just a loss of protection, it was a total identity crisis.
It's going to go our way, but it certainly have It certainly is proven that there was no way to win this through the courts. Wish someone had told me that beforehand. Yeah, the decision has been a surprise as well as not a surprise. Yeah, for the time being, it's impossible for me to take my family back to the UK safely.
According to Harry, he begged, not for titles, not for money, but for the bodyguards to stay. He was willing to lose everything, as long as someone had a gun and was watching his back. That paints a very different picture from the rebellious prince who just wanted freedom and sunshine. This isn't a guy who left the palace to plant tomatoes and live in blissful anonymity. This is a guy who wanted to keep the perks without the press scrutiny, the freedom without the risk, the fame without the fallout. And in today's world, that combo doesn't exist, especially when your brand is built on being the royals who escaped. So what do we make of all this? Is Harry just a traumatized son reliving the ghost of Diana's past? Is Meghan masterminding a global fame operation under the guise of self-care and social justice? Or is this just two people trapped in the paradox of modern celebrity, where you have to be seen to survive, but being seen is the thing you say you hate the most? Whatever it is, the New York chase didn't help their case. It exposed it. And now people are asking real questions. If you're constantly under threat, why are you always in public? If you're trying to escape media harassment, why are you releasing 6-part Netflix documentaries and hosting award shows in designer gowns? And if you really just want to be left alone, why does it feel like you keep calling the paparazzi yourself? Because at this point, the only consistent thing about the Sussex saga is the contradiction. One day it's leave us alone, the next it's watch our docuseries. One day it's royal trauma, the next it's red carpet glamour. And the people, they're watching. Not because they're curious anymore, but because they can't look away from the slow-motion train wreck that this media empire has become.
Are you sad that we know Harry and Meghan are here?
No.
So when Meghan twerks in a fake hospital gown, or Harry files lawsuits demanding UK police escorts, or the two of them flee the paparazzi in New York traffic while being flanked by SUVs and bodyguards, it's not just celebrity drama anymore. It's theater. It's performance. It's the greatest reality show never aired. And the real question isn't whether they want privacy. It's whether they've ever wanted it at all. And it didn't stop there. In Australia, monarchist Alexandra Marshall warned that this type of publicity stunt is ammunition for Republicans. Basically, it means that it makes the monarchy look like a circus act. But the biggest bombshell came from Norman Fenton, a mathematics professor who said, point blank,
"Of course not, but Meghan's problem is not what's currently going on now. It's that the entire history of Meghan's life, Americans in general have this perception of royalty as portrayed by Hollywood, which is the pursuit of fame and wealth and privilege, whereas the British people, they understand that royalty is actually about service and devotion and humility and empathy with the people. And so Meghan has always, from her earliest beginnings of the royal family, struggled to reconcile what she perceived royalty to be with what royalty actually is. And that's part of the reason that the public split from Meghan so early on. They sensed this difference. And Meghan still, to this day, struggles to understand what empathy is. And we could see it with Kate as she, the Princess of Wales, as she walked among the people with her husband, the Prince of Wales. They understood the public grief and they interacted with the public in a respectful manner. But again, Meghan's was all about the camera and how to behave and how it's going to look in the press. And that is simply not what royalty is. And it's never been more true than right now.
That bump behaves nothing like biology recognizes. And this isn't some tinfoil hat-wearing basement blogger. This is a guy who crunches data for a living. His verdict? That belly was faked. No doubt. So let's get real about the stakes. This isn't just a TikTok gone wrong. We're talking about a constitutional crisis. In the UK, royal children must be born of the body to qualify for titles and succession. If Meghan used a surrogate and didn't publicly disclose it, that's not just dishonest. It's illegal. It could strip Archie and Lilibet of their titles, their inheritance rights, and their place in the line of succession. This isn't just drama, it's dynastic chaos. And it's not the first time people have asked questions. Back in 2019, Meghan's bump was the star of several conspiracy threads. Some claimed it deflated. Others said it moved oddly when she walked. And the clincher? The infamous bump fold moment caught on live TV where Meghan sat down and her belly crumpled like a grocery bag. Back then, it was easy to laugh it off. Now, not so much. Especially with this new video where she's dancing, laughing, and moving in ways no heavily pregnant woman realistically would. And the kicker? No visible sweat, no discomfort, just perfectly poised performance. That performance is what's freaking people out. Who was she performing for? Why was she dancing like she was auditioning for Labor Room Live? And more importantly, why release this now? Some insiders say it's a PR distraction, maybe to steal headlines from another scandal. Others think it's Meghan's way of regaining the narrative, pushing the cool mom image. But most? They think it's a massive miscalculation, a move that backfired so badly it might have just killed the last shred of public goodwill she had left. Because here's the truth, this isn't a clip you can walk back. Once people saw it, they couldn't unsee it. Once they questioned the bump, they questioned everything. Did Meghan ever give birth? Were the hospital photos staged? Were the royal birth certificates forged? Did the palace know? Was Harry in on it? Is that even his baby? The theories aren't just multiplying, they're mutating. And the royal family? They're allegedly livid. One source claims Prince William is privately furious, and King Charles is deeply disappointed.
On both parts to move on from this family rift.
The source explains that the royal family made a coordinated public effort to congratulate and offer Harry and Meghan well wishes on social media after the birth of their baby Lily. But the source adds that there are still lingering feelings of disappointment and anger after the couple's claims in their explosive Oprah interview, where they accused an unnamed member of the royal family of expressing concern about the potential color of their son Archie's skin,
which in royal language is basically a war declaration. Even whispers have emerged that Prince Harry might be considering dropping the Mountbatten-Windsor name and embracing Spencer instead. Symbolic? Maybe. But also damning. Because if this video was supposed to humanize Meghan, it did the opposite. It turned her into a punchline. And when royalty becomes a meme, the institution starts to rot. Online reaction has been brutal. Petitions are circulating to remove Archie and Lilibet from the line of succession. Demands for an official inquiry are gaining traction. Some are calling for medical proof. Others want Meghan's titles revoked entirely. And through all this chaos, Meghan remains silent. No denials, no clarifications, no interviews, just digital tumbleweeds. That silence? It's not helping. If anything, it's turning suspicion into belief. Because when you don't deny something this wild, people start assuming it's true. And the more time passes, the more Meghan looks like she's hiding something. Whether that's true or not, perception is everything. And right now, the perception is that Meghan Markle staged a pregnancy and made a joke out of it. Even journalists who once defended her are now backing away. One primetime anchor said, "This video doesn't clarify a thing. It only deepens suspicion." That's the problem with playing both sides, being royal when it suits you, an influencer when it doesn't. Sooner or later, people stop trusting anything. And Meghan's carefully curated image of authenticity, empathy, and motherhood? It's cracking. Fast. However, Meghan had always been a controversial figure within the royal circle, whether it was her American upbringing, her career in Hollywood, or her bold refusal to play by the palace's old-school rules. And while many hoped her marriage into the monarchy would bring a modern touch, it also came with a whole lot of friction, especially with Kate. Let's rewind the clock to when Meghan first stepped onto the royal scene. Everyone thought she and Kate were going to be this iconic duo, like Diana 2.0 meets modern-day Grace Kelly. But nope. From the start, it was clear these two were on very different wavelengths. Meghan came in with hugs and ripped jeans, while Kate was all about that polished royal poise. And Meghan even admitted in her Netflix documentary that their first meeting was super awkward. She thought it was going to be chill, but Kate stayed formal even at home. Talk about culture clash.
She met Harry's brother and sister-in-law.
I was a hugger, always been a hugger. I didn't realize that is really jarring for a lot of Brits.
Meghan says she went in for the hugs, and I think our suspicions about this being a pretty cool relationship right from the start have been confirmed here. It also confirms what we've always known, which is that Meghan and Kate are two very, very different women. You know, that's why they were never going to be best friends.
But here's where it gets juicy. Remember that whole flower girl dress drama before Meghan and Harry's wedding? The tabloids were screaming that Meghan made Kate cry. But then Meghan dropped the bombshell in that Oprah interview. Kate was the one who made her cry. And yes, she said Kate apologized with flowers and a note, but y'all already know. Once the press runs wild with a story, the damage is done. Of course, we also have the CBS tell-all where Meghan and Harry pulled the curtain back on royal life and dropped those racism allegations. That's when everything really blew up. Meghan didn't name names, but Omid Scobie's book Endgame later hinted that Kate and Charles were allegedly the ones who questioned what baby Archie's skin tone would be.
The firestorm sparked by the Dutch version of this book Endgame by Omid Scobie. Readers for the first time saw two royal names printed in connection with an infamous conversation about skin color, King Charles and Catherine, Princess of Wales. In 2021, Meghan Markle shocked Oprah and the millions who watched the interview when she revealed members of the royal family discussed how dark their unborn child's skin might be. The couple never revealed who was involved in that alleged conversation.
And until there is actual evidence of those comments being made, I will never believe it.
But the British TV host Piers named the royals on his show Wednesday, saying if Dutch readers know, Brits should know as well. He's a vocal critic of Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex.
Now, that Dutch translation of the book that named them? Phew! Even though it never officially hit shelves, the internet was already in flames. And that's not even the end of it. Y'all, Kate and Meghan had to pretend to be cordial at Queen Elizabeth's funeral. Cameras caught them walking side by side, but behind closed doors, it was icy. According to reports, Kate told a senior royal that it was one of the hardest things she ever had to do. I mean, imagine grieving and fake smiling next to someone you can barely stand. Royal duties or not, that's a lot to bottle up. Fast forward to 2023 after Endgame dropped and all the chaos that came with it. According to insiders, King Charles had had enough. The feud between Meghan and Kate was starting to overshadow everything, including his reign. So what did he do? He allegedly asked Kate to be the bigger person and call Meghan. Yup. Kate reportedly picked up the phone, tried to clear the air, and make peace for the sake of the family. Whether that convo was real closure or just royal damage control is still up for debate, but fans were shook. Because let's be real, this whole Meghan versus Kate drama isn't just about two women not vibing. It's about culture, class, and control. It's about a monarchy that's struggling to evolve while clinging to its centuries-old traditions. And it's about two very different women caught in the middle of it all. So what now? The bump conspiracy isn't a fringe theory anymore. It's mainstream. And the longer Meghan stays quiet, the more power it gains. Every meme, every comment, every YouTube deep dive adds fuel to the fire. People are no longer asking if the bump was fake. They're asking why she would fake it. Fame, sympathy, royal access, and with every passing day, more people are buying into the theory that Meghan pulled the ultimate royal ruse. It's no longer about proving anything. It's about trust. Meghan built her brand on authenticity. But this video, it's the opposite of authentic. It's weird, it's cringy, it's confusing. And worst of all, it feels staged. When you throw a bump on, twerk in a hospital room, and release it online for laughs or attention, you don't just damage your image. You invite the world to question everything you've ever said. So here we are, a viral video, a suspicious belly, two royal kids whose legitimacy is now being questioned in mainstream media, and a duchess who won't say a word. It's the perfect storm, the bump that broke the internet, the silence that's deafening, and maybe, just maybe, the beginning of the end for Meghan Markle's carefully crafted fairy tale. Now let us know what you think. Was it just a harmless parody gone wrong? A bizarre attempt at humor? Or is this the biggest royal deception of the 21st century? Hit that like button, subscribe for more breakdowns, and drop your wildest theory in the comments. Because one thing's for sure, this bump, it's got everyone talking.